Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, students? Inshallah, in this video, I'm going to start with Unit 10, and which talks about ancient civilizations. With the meaning of ancient, ancient means old, very old, very old civilizations from a long time ago. Okay? From a long time ago. Okay? So, look at this picture here, or these two photos. I have two photos here. What are they about? They're about Petra, right? Have you ever went to Petra? Have you ever visited Petra? What does it look like? Do you know who built it? And who lived in it? Okay, now the answers of these questions are going to be explained in the text below, inshallah. So please listen carefully and take all the notes. Okay. Who were the Nabateans? In Petra, Jordan, there lay the remains of a majestic city carved out of the desert rock. The city was the main area inhabited by the Nabateans, who migrated gradually from Arabia during the 6th century BCE. Originally, they were a nomadic people who chose to settle in various places, such as southern Jordan, the Naqab Desert, and the northern Arabia. There is little known about the lifestyle of the Nabateans except that they were important traders in the ancient world. They might have traded goods such as spices, gold, and animals with civilizations such as China, India, and Rome because of their convenient position at a commercial crossroads in the world. Many Roman writers wrote about what the Nabatean culture must have been like, but no one knows for sure. However, they agree that the language of the Nabateans could have been a mixture of Arabic and Aramic. These Roman writers also say that the Nabateans were ruled by a royal family, and that unlike many cultures in the ancient world, the Nabatean society might not have used any slaves. In addition to that, the Nabateans must have been expert engineers because they managed to build complicated water conservation systems in the desert terrain. Despite archaeologists' best efforts, there is a limit to what they can tell us about these fascinating people who lived in Jordan such a long time ago. Although it is still difficult to know much, they can't have been illiterate because there are some inscriptions that remain. However, sadly for us, most of the things that the Nabateans made and owned have been too easily destroyed by time or lost in that desert. Okay, so who were the Nabateans? Let's read again and explain the text. Okay. In Petra, Jordan, there lay the remains of a majestic city carved out of the desert rock. So, now, Petra is what? Is it a built city? A city that was built by bricks, or by wood, or by rocks? Was it built? No, it wasn't exactly built. It was what? It was carved out of the desert rock. What the meaning of carved out? Curved اللي هي النحت. Okay? تم نحتها of the desert rock. Okay? So what is special with this city? It is carved out of the desert rock. The city was the main area inhabited by the Nabateans. Inhabited means تم استيطانها. Okay? السكن اللي هي الحياة فيها مين? Who lived in it? The Nabateans. So who lived in Petra? They were the Nabateans. Who migrated gradually from Arabia? They were gradually migrated, hajaru, okay? From Arabia during the 6th century BC. Now, these Nabateans, where they were from? Originally, what were the Nabateans? They they refer to the Nabateans. They were a nomadic people who chose to settle in various places. So they were nomadic. What the meaning of nomadic? Nomadic, that those people who travel from one place to another. رحالة البدو. تمام. They were nomadic people who chose to settle in various places such as southern Jordan, the Naqab Desert, and northern Arabia. So where these nomadic people used to settle down or to settle in, they used to settle in many places such as southern Jordan, the Naqab Desert, and the northern Arabia. Okay? There is little known about the lifestyle of the Nabateans, except that they were important traders in the ancient world. Now, it was little known about the lifestyle of the Nabateans. No one knows much of them. How was their type of life? Okay? They just know too much that what? That they were important traders in the ancient world. They were really important traders. What the meaning of traders? People who sell and buy goods. Okay, هم التجار. Okay. So the special thing about the Nabateans that they were what? Important traders in the ancient world. They refers to the Nabateans. Okay, they might have traded goods such as spices, gold, and animals with civilizations such as China, India, and Rome because of their convenient position at a commercial crossroads in the world. Okay, so what goods they used to trade with? They used to trade with what? Spices, gold, and animals. Okay, with which civilizations they used to trade with? They used to trade with China, India, and Rome. So there are 3 goods. What the meaning of goods? بضائع. And 3 countries or civilizations. Okay? طيب. Why did they used to trade with or chose to trade with China, India, and Rome? It was because of their convenient position at a commercial crossroads in the world. موقعهم اللي هو إيش؟ التجاري. Okay? They had, yes, they all, China, India, and Rome had convenient position at a commercial crossroads in the world. There he refers to whom? There refers to China, India, and Rome, which had a convenient position at a commercial crossroads in the world. China, India, and Rome. Okay? Next. Many Roman writers wrote about what the Nabatean culture must have been like, but no one knows for sure. Again, many Roman writers wrote about what Nabatean culture must have been like. Well, they wrote a lot of things about the Nabateans' life. What was it like? Okay? But for sure that no one knows for sure. They were just guessing the type of life that the Nabateans lived. Okay? So they were just guessing, and so they wrote about it. But they were not sure about it 100%. Okay? But there's something that they agreed about. He refers to the Roman writers. They agree that the language of the Nabateans could have been a mixture of Arabic and Aramic. Yes, okay. The thing that they were sure about, these writers, they were sure about the language of the Nabateans, which was what? It could have been, okay, a mixture of Arabic and Aramic. Aramic اللي هي اللغة الأرامية. اللغة الأرامية. إذن it was a mixture between Arabic and Aramic اللي هي الأرامية، اللغة الأرامية. These Roman writers also say that the Nabateans were ruled by a royal family. They were also what? Ruled. كانوا محكومين. Okay? By a royal family. And that, unlike many cultures in the ancient world, the Nabatean society might not have used any slaves. They might not have used any slaves. Other civilizations could have slaves, okay? But the Nabatean civilization, they could not or they might not have used any slaves. When the meaning of slaves, العبيد. Okay? So were they have or did they use slaves? No. According to the text, they didn't or they might not have used any slaves. In addition to that, the Nabateans must have been expert engineers because they managed to build complicated water conservation systems in the desert terrain. Okay, so they were also what? They were expert engineers. Why? Why they were expert engineers? Because they managed to build complicated water conservation systems in the desert terrain. What the meaning of conservation systems اللي هي أنظمة حفظ المياه. Okay? In the desert terrain اللي هي the land, the desert land أو the land of the desert اللي هي الأراضي الصحراوية. Okay? So they managed to build complicated water conservation systems in the desert terrain. تمام. Despite archaeologists' best efforts, there is a limit to what they can tell us about these fascinating people who lived in Jordan such a long time ago. Despite archaeologists' best efforts, بالرغم من okay جهود اللي هم الارchaeologists أو علماء الآثار. There is a limit to what they can tell us about. Okay, they refers to archaeologists can tell us about these fascinating people who lived in Jordan such as a long time ago. This means that these archaeologists were searching a lot about the life of Nabateans and the nature of the Nabateans, but they couldn't tell us too much about them. Okay? They can tell us only a little about these fascinating people who lived in Jordan such a long time ago. Although it is still difficult to know much, they can't have been illiterate. They refers to the Nabateans here. It refers to the Nabateans. Okay? So, they can't have been illiterate. What the meaning of illiterate? Illiterate, those who can't write or read. أميين. Those people or the people who can't read or write and write. Okay, who can't read and write. So illiterate, write it down. Who can't read and write. Okay, so there are some inscriptions that remain. So why they think that they can't be illiterate? What make them think? What make the archaeologists think that the Nabateans were not illiterate? Because what? They found some inscriptions, maktubat, okay, that remain from the Nabateans' days. However, sadly for us, most of the things that the Nabateans made and owned have been too easily destroyed by time or lost in the desert. Sadly for us, unfortunately, most of the things that the Nabateans made and owned have been too easily destroyed by the time or lost in the desert. So from here I can guess why the archaeologists couldn't find many information or much information about the Nabateans, because most of the things that the Nabateans made and owned have been too easily destroyed by time or lost in the desert. And this is why you have to think that, or to know that, we don't know much about the Nabateans. Okay, this is the text and what it talks about. So it talks about the Nabateans, their lifestyle, and their language, and so on. Okay, now after we have explained the text, okay, in the next video, I'm going to send you the questions and their answers. So follow it after this one. Thank you, يا أول.